morning, everyone. Welcome back to the Purple Broom Apothecary Presents. I am your hostess, Natalie, and today I am coming to you with a new vein of videos. This was really difficult for me, and I'm going to talk a little bit about why in a minute. But before I get to that, I want to take a minute and just give a shout out and a thanks to the wonderful Kelly-Ann Maddox of the Four Queens. If you are not familiar with her channel, you should acquaint yourself with her channel as soon as possible. She is absolutely one of the best readers I've ever seen in terms of tarot, and I really have been saving my pennies to try to order a reading from her because I feel that I really would get a lot out of what she has to say. I find it difficult to read for myself because I'm always second guessing whether what I'm seeing and I'm getting is what I want to see or what I'm afraid to see, if that makes any sense at all. So I prefer to have others read for me. Same reason that I don't like to read for people that I know really well. I'm often second guessing myself and saying, well, am I seeing this because I think that's what they want to see or because I think they need to see this, and rather than that's the actual message. So recently, we had someone who was very influential in the community who decided to leave the community for a different path. And I don't begrudge anyone their right to find the path that they feel is right for them at any particular moment in time. It was difficult for me because I really liked this person. I was subscribed to their channel and I had to unsubscribe because it brought up a lot of really bad stuff for me that I spent years trying to eliminate from my life. Just others, I think, have been feeling the same. And I think that Kelly has provided a wonderful, safe place and has hit the nail on the head with her video with regards to how a lot of us kind of responded or felt emotionally in regards to this particular situation. And for those of you that have absolutely no idea what I'm talking about, I am linking Kelly's video in the down bar because, one, I think you need to just check her out. She's fantastic. But two, she has the links to everything that I'm referring to in her video, so I'm not going to link them. I'm just going to put her video there. You can go to her video and then use the down bar and see the links to figure out what all this is about for those of you that are unaware. But Kelly really is a wonderful pillar in this community, and I think that she deserves a little bit of recognition for being so blunt. I love the fact that she's very blunt and very to the point and very direct. And I appreciate people like that because you always know where you stand. There's never any kind of snide or backstabbing or, and she holds herself above all of that because there's been a lot of that in the community, and she really has always held herself above that, and I have extreme respect and gratitude for that. So please check out Kelly-Ann Maddox, the Four Queens. She's wonderful. You'll find the link to her video that I'm referring to in the down bar, and enough about that. The real reason that I came to do this video today, I've been getting a lot of requests to do a style of video that's very difficult for me. For those of you that know, I do read tarot. I love tarot. It's an important part of my life. It's something that I had set aside for years and years and years and years and years because I was raised in a fundamentalist Christian household. When my mom found that I was reading cards, she got rid of my deck and I didn't have another for years and years and years. But it was something that I always felt naturally drawn to, that came naturally to me. And so I have, again, taken that up as I've come more open with my path. When I do a reading, I am an intuitive reader. What that means is I don't necessarily go by the definition that's in the card, in the book about the card. I go based on the impressions that I see. This is also the reason that I do not read reversals per se. I'm not a direct reversal reader, meaning if the card's upside down in a reading, it doesn't necessarily have a different meaning for me. A lot of people think that if the card's upside down, it's the reverse meaning of the card, and that's not actually always the case. But for me, the cards are archetypal, and all of them have duality in their meaning. So the way I interpret the card is by the impression I get from the card and the way it lays out with other cards in the reading that I'm doing. I style my readings to tailor to the individual. When I do a reading, I don't like to know the person's specific question. In fact, it drives me nuts if somebody asks me, you know, can you do a reading to see if this, that, this, and that? I don't want to know that. You have the question in your mind. Spirit knows what you're asking. I'm simply here to interpret the message that they're sending to you, because sometimes we need to hear that message from somebody other than ourselves. So what I like to know is just the general area. If you're wanting, if it's a question about your love life, it's a question about your career, about a choice that you need to make with regards to your family or your education or a move or something like that. That's all I need to know is it, what's it related to? And then I will do a reading based on what I think you need to know, or what I'm being told you need to know. I love it when it weeds itself out. I am actually going to turn that off because it's just been buzz, 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 and ring all day. And to be honest with you, today's been the kind of day that makes me want to go, ah, and run screaming and run away and not tell anyone where I'm going. Let it go. Okay, so I have had a lot of people who have seen a few of my client readings ask me to do daily readings or weekly readings with a card, you know, or just pick a card and give the meaning and kind of talk about it. And I've always hesitated in doing this type of video because so many other people already do that. And I don't want to reinvent the wheel or even seem like I'm trying to copy what somebody else is doing, because I'm absolutely not. But I've had so many people say, oh, I really like the way that you interpret cards in your readings, and I really wish you'd do this and that. And I've been inundated with messages on my Facebook page and through the Messenger and a lot of other forums recently asking me to do this. So I thought I would go ahead and give it a stab. So bear with me here. The deck I am choosing to read from today is housed in my favorite little tarot box. I love this person's artwork. I don't know whose artwork this is, to be honest with you, but I have seen this image on t-shirts and stuff. So whoever you are, I would love to give you credit because I think that this is absolutely phenomenal. I love cats, but I'm not allowed to have a cat because my husband hates them with a passion. And so I have 7 dogs. But this is the closest I can get to having a kitty. So I love it. And I just love the fact that it's got everything I love with it. Books, candles, everything my husband hates. Sad. True. So I picked this little box up at a wonderful little shop in San Antonio called Unlimited Thought. It's on Blanco Road. So if you're in San Antonio, Texas, go check out Unlimited Thought. It is really a neat little shop. It's quite sizable, really, for a metaphysical shop. They have a huge variety of stuff, lots of books, even things for kids. It's been great. I'm going to get to that in a minute, too, because I am currently working on a new book, and I'm hoping to have it self-published soon. It'll be available on the website, and I will do more about that in a later video. But the deck I'm going to be reading from today is the Everyday Witch deck by Deborah Blake and Elizabeth Alba. She is the one who did the artwork. I love this deck because I like the bright colors. I like the artwork. I like the fact that it goes all the way across the thing. I have to connect with the deck in terms of its artwork. If I don't like what I see and I don't feel drawn to it right away, I don't use it and I don't buy it. So I actually don't buy any decks for myself. My husband buys them. I am going to shuffle up the cards and I'm going to do a 1-card draw, and I'm going to give an interpretation of that card in terms of what I feel the message is in general that we are supposed to be getting from that card today. Not necessarily me, not necessarily, you know, any person in particular, but just generally, what is this card saying about the way things are forming in the universe today? So my card is the Queen of Wands. Now, I really like this card, and this is actually the first time I've drawn this card from this deck. So the Queen of Wands. Now, this card to me holds a lot of different impressions right off the bat. She's wearing a beautiful gown. She's got this majestic dragon behind her that seems to be kind of looking back at her as if to say, are you ready? She seems to be seated on the dragon, and she's holding flowers. Her little kitty there is trying to play with the flower that's falling down. I love the look on her face because she looks very composed to me, but also very determined. And what this card says to me is that today will be a day in which you will feel that things are the way they are supposed to be. Notice the little hummingbird here. Hummingbirds to me have always held a connection to me with, honestly, and I'm sure there will be those of you that disagree with me, but hummingbirds to me always seem to be connected with my ancestries, with the spirits of those who are no longer with me, but are with me in heart and in my DNA and in my genes. The hummingbird to me is so light and sprightly and quickly moving. I don't know many predators who have actually been able to catch a hummingbird. I'm not saying that it hasn't happened, but they are also just miraculous in their being. The way that they move, the way that they fly, how quickly they can flit from flower to flower, and yet so beautiful and tiny and fragile at the same time. So this card speaks to me of a need to remember who you are. That when things around you seem to be, under the gauge of the fire, remember that you are ultimately the one that's in control. And what's funny about this card, and I'm going to tell you guys a little bit of a story. For those of you that have seen my video about words being a witch's most powerful tool, I talk in that about a metaphor that I once heard regarding how we deal with our emotional states, our fight or flight response. That the amygdala, which is housed in the hippocampus down here, controls your fight or flight. That often we tend to just want to go, but we refer to that as the dragon. When the dragon wakes up, it blows fire around the village, which is the higher level brain, and that when you have your dragon awake and he is blowing fire around your villagers are going crazy, but they can't get out of the village, meaning you cannot actually access your higher level language functions or your higher level cognitive thinking skills when you are in a fight or flight response, because again, you're fight or flight. So this card speaks to me of remembering to calm your dragon. That in times when things seem to be going chaotic, you are ultimately still in control. That you are holding the magic in your hand, that the light will guide you if you just remember to keep yourself calm and keep that dragon calm too, so he's not blowing up your village. That you will come out roses if you remember to stay calm and keep yourself together. Keep your composure, keep your dignity, and hold yourself above that which is around you. And ultimately, people will understand. And I think what this may speak to is that with all the turmoil that's going on today and everything else that's happening, that sometimes we tend to respond in an emotional way, and that's what the dragon refers to me. That we tend to just want to blow it all out, and that a lot of times we allow that dragon aspect of ourselves to just flare up and start blowing the smoke. And we need to remember who we are at our most authentic and keep ourselves composed, that we are the kings and queens of this situation and of our resources and our emotional stock, and that we need to be the ones who hold the magic in our hands and keep that and control where it goes. Remember that the wand directs your power, right? So by holding that wand aloft and keeping that light up, and by keeping your energy and your light and your dignity, you can therefore calm those around you as well and come out being the one who is in a leadership role. So I get all of that impression from this card, that you need to hold yourself above when things seem tough, because you are the one who controls your own destiny, and don't let anyone else take that from you. So I hope that this has done something for you. Those of you that have been asking for this video, this is the first one. So I hope that it goes well and that you take something from it you can use today. Thank you so much for watching, and blessed.